Hello and welcome to the 741 channel. Thank you for stopping by. Today we're going to take a look at this SunJoe SPX3000 pressure washer. So first off, we'll do a quick unboxing, and then I'll take a quick look at the assembly process. Then I'll do an overview of some of the unit's features, and then we'll do a demo. Before we get started, I'll mention that there is a link down in the description to the Amazon product page for this unit if you want to learn more about it. First step in the assembly process is to slide the trigger gun holder onto the side of the pressure washer body. And this will just slide on and clip onto this bracket that's on the side here. So the next step is to install the handle onto the pressure washer body. You can see here on the top of the pressure washer there is a groove for this tab on the back of the handle to slide into. And there are a couple of locking clips that mate to some tabs up here on the top of the pressure washer body. Now that I have the handle mounted to the pressure washer, we need to secure it with 4 of the supplied screws. The screws are installed here, 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 and here. So next up we need to mount the detergent bottles into the top of the handle here. And you can see that on the top of each detergent bottle there is a groove, and on the bottom of each one there is sort of a tab here, and the groove locks into the top part of the handle and the tab locks into a cutout on the back of the handle here. So next up I'm going to attach this detergent tube to the back of the pressure washer on this fitting just below the bottom of the handle. Next up I'm going to install the wand protector, and that goes on the left side of the unit as looking at it from the front. So on the front of the wand protector is a little tab here, hopefully you can see it, that slides into this groove on the front of the pressure washer and just kind of clips into place. And then we'll use one of the short screws and secure it down to the pressure washer. So next up we'll install the wand holder, and that goes on the front of the unit and attaches to these slots here and then secures with a screw in the middle. So next up we'll take the trigger gun out of the packaging. So now we'll install the end of the spray wand into the trigger gun, just thread that in until it's tight. Next up I'll cut the zip ties on the spray hose just to free it up. So now I'll attach one end of the spray hose to the fitting on the end of the wand here. Next up we'll attach the other end of the high pressure hose to the back of the pressure washer. First I'll remove this protective cap and then we'll thread it in place. So next up I'm going to install the water inlet adapter to the front of the pressure washer. And of course I'll remove this protective cover first. So let's take a look at some of the unit's features. First up, of course, up top here is the carrying handle. Next up is the detergent tank dial, and you can see that in the center position it shuts off both detergent tanks, and then if you turn it left or right it turns on one or the other of the tanks. So if you're not using detergent, you'd leave this in the center position, and then if you wanted to use detergent you would turn the dial one way or the other depending on which tank you wanted to work from first. And the dial is variable, so you can control the amount of soap that you're using at any given time between minimum and a maximum setting. So next up is this hook here. Right now I've got the main spray hose wrapped around it. Next up is the power switch. Straight up is off and turned to the side is on. And then down here on the bottom of the unit is the water inlet adapter. You can see that the one they supplied has a swivel on it, and it also has a screen in there, which is a nice touch. So next up is the pressure washer wand or gun. The back body here, of course, is plastic with a plastic trigger handle, but you can see that the main nozzle itself is a metal tube with some brass fittings on it. The front part of it swivels at the plastic interface, so you can turn the spray pattern easily from here if you want to. And then at the end is a quick disconnect chuck for the various ends that are supplied with the unit. And then you can see here the high pressure hose can be quickly removed from the wand by just simply unscrewing this fitting. As you can see here, I've stretched out the pressure hose and the electric cord down my driveway there just to get a rough measurement on them. It looks like the pressure hose is about 18 feet long, and the cord is about double that at 36 feet long. So SunJoe has given us plenty of length here to work with. Taking a look at the pressure hose, you can see it's made out of rubber, so that makes it nice and flexible, although it probably is prone to kinking if you squeeze it hard enough, so you want to be careful about that. It does seem to want to twist a little bit at times when it's being rolled up or unrolled, but other than that, it seems like it's fine and is a decent quality for this price point unit. The cord is labeled as being a 14 gauge cord, which is a pretty decent gauge for this unit, and it does feel pretty flexible for the fact that it's 14 gauge. This is obviously stranded wire in here. Now, of course, because this thing is used outside and with water, it's included a GFCI breaker right on the end of the cord. Now, of course, we can't look inside of the unit, but it feels like a pretty decent unit physically for this price point of unit, and should hold up well as long as you don't slam it on the pavement or on a rock or something like that. Okay, on the back of the unit here is the storage for the various nozzles that are supplied with the unit, which I think is a nice touch. That way they won't get lost. Of course, here is the back of the detergent bottles with the hoses that connect them into the unit. These feel like pretty decent quality hoses. They should last for a while, and they are nice and flexible. Hopefully over time they won't dry out and get brittle, but time will tell. Down here in the middle of the unit we have a feature that would allow storage for extra attachments and things like that, or maybe even the cord could be wrapped up and stored in here, I'm not sure. Or you could even use it as sort of a handle, or you could maybe even hang this on your garage wall from this or something like that. Down here at the bottom of the unit is a tray, again for storage or keeping things that might be long and stuck through these holes secure. And then at the bottom, of course, is the connection for the pressure hose. And just like the other end of the connection for the pressure hose, this fitting can be unscrewed by hand if you want to remove the hose quickly for storage or whatever. And then lastly, down here we have a set of 7-inch roughly diameter wheels, which is a good diameter for towing this thing across uneven terrain like grass or something like that. And the outer diameter of the wheels is covered in sort of a pliable rubber or plastic, which gives it a little bit of grip on smooth surfaces. So for the first test, what I'm going to do is try and clean some of the mud off the wheel of my Tahoe here. And I don't have any detergent at the moment. We're going to try this just with straight water, and I'm going to use the 15-degree nozzle and see how that works. So to clip the nozzle onto the end of the wand, I'm just going to pull back on the fitting here, and that'll click into place, and it should be on there securely. As you can see, I've got the hose plugged into the unit on the front. I've got the electricity plugged in the garage over there. Let's turn it on and see what happens. So the first few times I pull the trigger on the wand, the unit may not fully come up to pressure because there may be air in the hose. So we'll purge that all out. Once it seems like it's up to pressure and working right, we'll then test and see how well it takes this mud off. So I'll try another test without detergent. You can see there's some green mold on this wood sill here. Let's see how it does with that. And again, I'm just going to stick with the 15-degree nozzle and see what happens. So I picked up some siding cleaner. Let's throw it in the pressure washer and see how it does with this stuff. So I don't know if you can tell or not, my house is already green, so it's a little bit hard to see the green mold that's on this piece of trim here. So what I'll do just for comparison is I'll clean sort of the bottom part of it without detergent, and then we'll try the top part and see if there's any difference in the cleaning power. Okay, as you can see, that mold came right off without the detergent. So I expect with the detergent, it's really not going to be much different, but we'll give it a try. So to activate the detergent, I'll just spin the knob back from all the way to the left position from the empty tank, all the way over to the right to open up the valve for the full tank. So the other thing I've done is switched over to the black nozzle for the soap. So I've switched back to the 15-degree nozzle, and now we'll hose this off. So that's pretty much going to wrap things up for the SunJoe SPX3000 pressure washer. If you want to learn more about this unit, there is a link in the description below to its Amazon product page. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to leave a comment or subscribe, feel free to do that as well. And if you'd like to support my channel in another way, please consider visiting my Amazon store, which you'll also find linked in the description below. Thanks for watching.